Lollipop, bubble sparks.
Rockin' everywhere. My bad. What's going on, everyone? I am DV, and as always, I would like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in for another all-new episode right here on Me and Mine TV. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I really can't help myself. Whenever I hear somebody talking about some booty, I gotta get down. You know, it makes me feel loose because booty is the best thing in the world. It's the best thing since sliced bread. And no matter who you are or where you're from, you like yourself some booty. Because booty makes the day go by faster. When we're having a bad day and we see a nice looking booty, we feel better about our day. Because here in 2016, there are really only two types of booty that really have any importance. Now, number one, of course, being of the female variety, which I won't talk about on this channel because if I did, pretty sure the video would be about 96 hours long before I had to take a break and make another one. But the reason why I won't get into that on this channel, because this is a car channel. And the number two most important booty in the world is, of course, the car booty. Because if you're a car junkie like I am, if you're a car enthusiast like I am, the booty is probably the most important aspect of your car. It's not the sides, it's not the front end, and it's not the rims. It's got to be the booty. Now, if you're a car junkie, if you track your car, or if you drag your car, you want the booty to be the most beautiful part of your car. Some of you may be asking yourself why. Well, it's very simply this. You want your booty to look nice. You want it to be so appealing. So when your competition is behind you, they love staring at your booty because it's just so intriguing. You don't want to focus on your sides because if you did, that means your competition would be beside you. You don't want to focus on your front end because that means the only people who can see your front end are the people that you're behind, and you don't want that. Because here in 2016, me being obsessed with the booty, I've compiled a list of 5 cars that have the best booties in 2016. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the 5th best car booty in 2016 is of a car that I know very well. And of course, I'm talking about the Chevrolet Camaro. No, it's not the horrendous looking 6-gen. No, we're not talking about that. No, it's not the 10 through 13 5-gen. Hell no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the 1415 refreshed 5th generation Chevrolet Camaro. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about my car's rear end. Now, I know what a lot of you probably are saying. Well, DV, you're biased. Of course you like your car's rear end. Of course you're going to put it on the list. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I did. Because the one thing I love about my car's rear end, it looks so fresh. It looks so smooth. It looks like you just want to walk up to it and smack it on the booty because it looks so good. We're not talking about that bug-eyed, cross-eyed look that the 10 through 13 Camaros have. We're not talking about that because that is one of the most ugliest rear ends I have ever seen. No hard feelings to my 10 through 13 Camaro owners out there, just being honest. But when it comes to my car's rear end, I do have to say, it is definitely one of the most attractive rear ends here in 2016. Now, the number 4 best booty in 2016, once again, hails from Chevrolet. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, I have to be honest with each and every one of you. I really wasn't a fan of this car's booty when I originally saw it. It took me a good 5, maybe 6 months to actually fall in love with it. Because of course I'm talking about none other than the C7 Corvette. Because the very first time I saw the rear end of a C7 Corvette, I threw up a little bit in my mouth, kind of what I did right there, because it definitely was something new and definitely something we as consumers had to get used to. And I really didn't come around to actually loving the C7 Corvette's rear end until I got the chance to test drive and review a brand new drop top black C7 Corvette, which you guys can check out at the link on your screen. Now, after spending a couple of days with that car, getting familiar with it, and of course, obsessing over the exterior, I have to admit, I fell in love with the rear end of the C7 Corvette. Now, the number 3 best booty in 2016 hails from one of my car's top competitors. Matter of fact, the same competitor that I have stated several times over again is the best muscle car out of the 3. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I am referring to the Dodge Challenger. Now, just like the Camaro, I have to say the same thing about the Challenger. When they brought the Challenger back, I was not a fan of the rear end because all they did was have that long-ass hideous bar on the rear of the car. But just like GM, when they did the refresh on the Camaro, Dodge did the exact same thing. They changed the rear end, broke up that hideous long taillight, and put it in several different sections, to which I have said several times over again, made the appearance of that car just that much better. Because I do have to admit, the reason why I love the new Challenger's rear end is because to me, the rear end of a Challenger looks like a woman in heels. And fellas, let's be real. We all love women in high heels. Because you know when they get in them stilettos or pumps or whatever the heck they're called. I'm not a woman, I don't know. You know, they got them 4-6-inch heels and everything's just tightened and lift up in the air. And when you see them walk by, you just want to smack it and flip it and rub it down. Okay, I'm getting too much in depth when it comes to the rear end of a car. So I will just simply say, I love the rear end of the Challenger because it's sexy, it's appealing, and it reminds me of a woman, which at the end of the day is never a bad thing. Now, the number 2 best booty in 2016 comes to us from my favorite auto manufacturer that hails from the great country of Italy. And of course, I am talking about Lamborghini, because the second best booty in 2016 comes to us via the Lamborghini Aventador. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest, just like I was about the C7 Corvette, I really wasn't a fan of the Aventador's rear end when I first saw it, because it didn't follow in the mold of Lamborghinis of old. Because the Murcielago followed the Diablo, which followed the Countach, which followed the Miura, and all of their rear ends kind of mirrored each other. But with the new Aventador, it strikes out on its own. It gives us a different look, a different take on Lamborghinis for the future. And I do have to admit, yes, it looks good when you're just cruising around at 66 miles an hour. But when you go above that and that rear spoiler pops up, it's like, hi, can you see me? Do you like me? You can see my ass because you're not in front of me. Bye-bye, and then you take off and leave people in the distance. And that, without a doubt, is my favorite part about the Aventador's rear end, is when that spoiler deploys, because it looks like someone waving hi to you, or someone laughing at you because you're behind them, which leads me to the best rear end in 2016. So here we are. We've made it to number 1, numero uno, to the best booty in 2016. Now, if you are a booty fanatic like I am, the past 6 or 7 minutes have probably been torture for you. Your hands are probably chafed and covered in lotion. Your clothes are probably soaked from sweat. You're probably sitting there in convulsions because, just like me, you get excited at the very thought, the very mention, the very visual of a nice looking booty. But before we get to number 1, let us recap and remember the booties that got us here. Because coming in at number 5 was the refreshed 14 through 15 5th generation Camaro. Number 4 came to us via the C7 Corvette. Number 3 came to us via the Dodge Challenger. And at number 2 was the Lamborghini Aventador. But without further ado, let me go ahead and reveal my number 1 best booty in 2016. Because this car also hails from the great country of Italy, but it comes via a different manufacturer, known to us as Ferrari. Because the number 1 best booty in 2016 is the Ferrari LaFerrari. Because I do have to admit, as I've said many times the world over again, I am obsessed with the LaFerrari. Not just from the front, or the side, or the interior, but the rear end, especially with those active aerodynamics. It just makes me want to hold it and squeeze it and do all sorts of unconventional things a human being would want to do to the booty of a car. Because I do have to admit, I wouldn't mind driving down the highway doing 100 miles an hour so each and every person that drives around me can take a gander, a glance, a look, and get a picture of the best booty in 2016. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that is my list of the 5 best booties in 2016. Do you agree with my list? Did I leave a car out? Should any of the 5 cars that I picked not be in the top 5? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you guys think are the best booties in 2016. As always, thank each and every one of you for tuning to this edition of Me and Mine TV. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and check out all the other videos that I've done so far. Thank you each and every one of them tuning into this edition of Me and Mine TV. Stay tuned for my next upload.